Okay, so this is my take on the trip to the Philippines. Not really that, but more or less the things that you need to do to prepare yourself to go there. First and foremost, you need to make sure that you're healthy. Get your shots and everything at least 2 weeks before you go. My wife and I, we got our shots literally like 3 days before we went. And I got sick somewhere between, or I started showing the symptoms. It was a cough, somewhere between Phoenix and San Francisco. Actually, correction, it was more of a sore throat. And then when we had our layover at San Francisco, I developed a cough. As we went from San Francisco to Japan for our next layover, the cough got a lot worse and worse. Excuse me. Much like that. And worse and worse and worse. And then to the point where it was almost debilitating. And then I proceeded to get a little bit better due to non-FDA approved medicine from other countries. But it still took almost, I'd say I was actually feeling great, if not at least good, by the 2 nights before we had to come back. Well, that night before we had to come back, we had a little pizza party over at a friend's house. The only pizza that I ate was Sbarro and some Papa John's pizza. And one of those 2 things gave me such a bad stomach ache that I was literally writhing in pain, because it felt like somebody was stabbing me in the stomach. I've had my appendix taken out, and it felt just as bad as having to get my appendix taken out. That's how bad that pain was. So I know it had to have been one of those 2 companies didn't cook their pizza all the way or something. I think it was the Papa John's, because the Sbarro people, when they make their pizzas, they cook them fully done, and then when you come and get it, they cook it some more, and then they give it to you. Then the Papa John's pizza came, and yeah, it kind of, I guess my favorite pizza was always Pizza Hut pizza. I think they must have changed something in the Pizza Hut pizza, or the recipe or something, because it's just not what I remember it anymore. The last one I had was super greasy and all that stuff, but that was back here in the States. Yeah, I just because we ordered Pizza Hut pizza, but I was done eating pizza by the time the Pizza Hut pizza came. I had, I think, 2 or 3 slices of the Papa John's pizza. I think I had maybe 2 slices, maybe 3 slices of Sabraro. I mean, we could probably chalk it up to overeating, but why am I still in pain 3 days later? I try using the restroom. Little bit comes out. I know you probably don't want to hear that. Let's just say everything's working, but that pain is still there. I probably ended up getting, turn down the heat in this. I have it cranked all the way up. Anyways, but it could be also, when I got home, I was also running a 99.9 degree temperature. So that has actually come down to a 97.6 or something like that. And I guess the stomach ache is pretty much subsided as well. The only problem is if I eat something or drink something, the pain comes back. And so I'm thinking it could be a bug, like a tapeworm or some kind of parasite. I don't want to go to a doctor just for the embarrassment of having to do a test the way they test. You have to basically poo in a cup or something like that. I don't know. I've never had to do it before. And then they have to run a test. And then there's some tests, I read there's I guess the normal test that doctors do will only detect if there's a parasite, if the parasite is not, only if the parasite is alive and not dormant, not dead. And I guess there's another one that's like a higher level that supposedly expands the DNA of the organism, and that allows it to detect the organism or parasite regardless of if the parasite is dead or alive or dormant. The problem I have with that is that either way they do that, I'd have to basically poo in a cup, and that's probably going to get all over the place, and that's nasty. Hopefully by tomorrow, it's 6:53 a.m. Here in Arizona. Hopefully by tomorrow, everything will be all a-okay. I've bought myself some Pepto, because that stuff really does work usually. Actually, it works so well I actually got addicted to it for a little while, because there's these mints, I guess you can call them. They were candy, basically. They're little pink round candies. Not really round. They were round, but they were like a cylinder round, but they were very short cylinders. It was probably larger in diameter than it was on the round, compared to the diameter of the sides, easily. I forget what they were called, but I've been looking everywhere to find to buy them, because they used to be my dad's favorite and my favorite. And Pepto-Bismol tastes exactly like them. And that is why I got addicted to Pepto-Bismol, because I couldn't find those candies anymore, so I just drink the Pepto. I kicked that habit real fast. I realized that I was addicted for about 3 months, and then I straight up kicked it, and I bore through any stomach pain I had. I don't get addicted anymore because I know it could be bad for me. Yeah, I mean, make sure you get your shots well in advance. Make sure you get over your sicknesses before you leave and all that stuff. Make sure you actually bring some Pepto or whatever medicine works for you. Whatever medicine works fastest for you, or most consistently for you, or the best for you, bring it. And if TSA won't let you bring it in through with your carry-on bags, put it in your checked luggage. If that particular stuff, like mine, actually comes in pills as well. I don't know if this is recording in mirrored mode, but I'll soon find out, because that Pepto-Bismol is backwards. Anyways, so yeah, if they come in pill form, definitely bring those with you on your carry-on, and put the liquid stuff in your check-on, or your checked baggage. After that, you want to bring something like NyQuil or Dayquil or whatever sick medicine that you want, that works best for you as well. Simply because I couldn't really find anything out there. They had all this unknown stuff out there, and while it seemed to have worked, my sickness, or my fever, has gone down within 2 days, just by drinking the NyQuil, from coming back, compared to being sick almost the whole entire trip. Now, I know my parents don't watch this video, I know my parents don't watch my videos because they're not subscribed to me or anything like that. And I hope that nobody shows them this video, but I feel like I have to tell somebody. I am probably the worst secret keeper ever, but Anna and my wife and we ended up buying a house out there. It's not fully done yet. We've paid the 20% down on the place. I'd say the lot is probably I don't remember how many square meters it was, but it was probably the same, if not close to the same, as our apartment in Oakland, at least 2 of them. So say 650, let's say 600 square feet, because that's double. Say 600 square foot times 2, because it's a 2-story house. So it's probably a 1,200 square foot. Yeah, it's probably about correct, because the apartment that we're in right now is about the same size as the first floor. Just for the front living, not including, it would be easier to say, not including the back 2 bedrooms and the bathroom, or one of the bathrooms. So we bought it because we needed to either build a house on the land that my wife's parents actually own, and then they would have given us their the right there, the deed to the land, which anybody building a house to any spec other than a clay house will know that it takes about, for the house they wanted, take about a minimum 6 months to build. Because there's planning, there's they actually had plans. They didn't have them blueprinted, but they did have plans. So it would have taken time for the house to be blueprinted, which probably would have been about 2-3 hours on the Sims for me. Sims 3 probably would have been about that, just for the layout of the house, not like all the intricate details and all that stuff. But you know, getting all the rooms and all that stuff probably would have taken me about 2-3 hours. And not even really that. I mean, that's anyways, moving on. So we ended up buying a house and the plot. It is an HMO, HOA. It's an HOA. It's not a homo. HMO. It's an HOA, Homeowners Association. So there are going to be fees, which her parents are going to have to endure. But the house is ready to move in, because my wife's sister is literally kicking their parents out of the house that they're currently in. Her parents own the house, but they do not own the land. I guess they gave the land to the sister, and the sister and her husband are saying, hey, we could be making money off the land, get off. So, and they gave them a time, and that time is almost up. So we had to go out there and either build a house or buy a house, basically. So we've done that.
Say a command.
I didn't say exit. Stupid. Anyways, where was I? So yeah, that's what we had to do, is we had to buy land, because we're full Americans, I guess. I was born here. My wife moved here from the Philippines, and she got naturalized. So I guess you know, we're getting approved, or we're pending approval right now, but most likely they'll approve us simply because of how much money my wife makes. She makes so much money in Philippine dollars that 1 year's worth of pay for my wife would, and I see my old boss in our, see, I'm over here in Fry's Marketplace, and there's my old boss. He's the manager of the store, walking over there. Yeah, anyways, so yeah, she made, I think the exchange rate is over 47 to 1 US dollar. So it's like 47 peso, 47 point, let's say 47 and a half peso to every $1. Now, you could say maybe since they don't have like coins like we do, well, they have the coins, they do have those, but they are the peso numbers. They have the paper money, which is also the peso number. It's just like 1,000 peso and versus 10 peso. 10 peso being a coin, and 20 peso being a coin or a dollar, or I mean, or a paper bill. Stuff like that. So they don't really have like cents. They don't have dollars and cents. So you could kind of think of it as for every $1 equals about half a dollar for them. But I mean, that doesn't really exactly make sense to me, really. It's let's put it this way: 1 year's worth of pay of my wife's paycheck to peso converted to peso, we could literally buy like half of Manila and just make money off of it. That's exaggerating, but I looked up homes one time a long time ago, and there was like a 8-room 16 bathroom house or something like that. So something absurd. It was basically a castle, a mansion. It was like 50. What was it? It was. I calculated it to be 50,000 US dollars. So that was one of the emergencies we had. Then the other emergency was that my wife's father has cancer, and among the other problems that the family has, he went in to get that taken out, and he came through successful. Now, whether he relapsed or not, I don't know. But he was talking about him being in so much pain that he was thinking about taking his own life. Now, I've only heard this through my wife's mouth, so I've only heard this through her mouth. So I'm taking it on faith that my wife is telling me the truth and not just saying this to get me to go to let her go over to the Philippines. Well, either way, it worked. We both went, which brings me to the other issue when preparing to go overseas. Your longest flight, in my case, it was San Francisco to Japan. It was in a 777. But it felt like it was it felt like it was a 737 or smaller. It was the worst feeling, the worst 8-hour flight I've ever, worst flight ever that I've ever been on. My back is literally killing me because of this flight. If you're going to go overseas and you're as tall as me, 6'5", if you're taller than 6 foot, if you're taller than 6 foot, for the love of God, spend extra fucking money to get business class or first class for that flight. Oh my God, I can't believe how horrendous my back feels because of that. So my stomach hurts, the front of my stomach hurts, my back hurts, I have a headache because of the fucking cold. Every time I cough, it feels like my head's gonna explode. You know, my nose is running with weird colors. You know, it was just the most horrific flying experience I've ever had. And I can remember most of all the flying experiences I've had. I think I've been in planes at least 3 other times before this trip. It might have been only 2, but I think it was 3. It might have been 4. You'd have to ask my parents on that one, but don't let them onto this video, because knowing them, they're gonna bellyache about us buying stuff and wasting our money and, you know, doing this and that stuff. And yeah, I know we should have bought another car or something for Anna to get to work and this and that. And it's just, you know, our house payment is going to be the amount in 15 years. It's every month is about this, is actually, I think, $100 more than my Mustang payment. So it's like $600 something, $650 or something like that. My Mustang's payment is $550. My Mustang payment's more like $517, I think, actually. But who's counting? Anyways, so yeah, I mean, I'm just tired from the whole experience. If also, I thank you, Nanay and Tatay, for letting us stay at your place. But I am going to be completely freaking honest. If I could do it again, I would have rented a hotel, even a hostel. Some place that had working, well, everything. Working hot water, for one. That's another thing. They don't have hot water out there unless you're like uber rich. So a place that had hot water and a working toilet. I really do not want to feel like shoveling buckets upon buckets of water into the toilet one after another, wasting 10 gallons just to flush one sitting. But I mean, yeah, there's no fixing your toilet. Your toilet needed to be completely replaced. So anyways, I just figured I'd waste time doing this little vlog until my wife called me, or until Taco Bell opened up. Hopefully Taco Bell will help flush whatever's left in my system out. I don't know. But it was a trip, literally.